just weren't sure exactly what we'd see from the Hoosiers this year, replacing 2 starters. But Terry Morin feels like this is the deepest team she's had in years. The same could be said for Lisa Bluder's Iowa Hawkeyes. It's the 3rd straight year they've returned this starting 5.
Well, Lisa Bluder told us today at shooting practice, when asked about that kind of continuity and chemistry, she said it just feels normal. It feels like it's the way it's supposed to be. Next year it'll be different when players leave, and she said she didn't want to think about that right now.
She's living
we
in the
don't
moment.
either. We don't want to think about that either, but I tell you what, the continuity for both of these teams has been in the winning column. Indiana, they've won 10 consecutive games. Iowa, they've won 8 consecutive games. To dominate in that fashion, being, again, at the top of everyone's scout, it doesn't matter.
First top 5 matchup in Big Ten women's basketball in 30 years. And here we go from Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall. Indiana controls the tip in the all-white home uniforms.
The defense for Iowa is player to player, as Lisa Bluder likes to call it, man-to-man defense out of the gates.
And right out of the gate, Mackenzie Holmes knocks down a jumper.
Mackenzie Holmes doesn't need to have her back to the basket to get a bucket, and that is a matchup, my friends, that you need to circle and watch on every single possession. Mackenzie Holmes and Monica Sinano for Iowa.
Tapped out of bounds. Great defense by the freshman, Yarden Garzone. As we talked about, replacing a couple of starters. One of those being Allie Patberg, one of the toughest players in program history, and yet, Christy, she feels like this team has a different level of toughness.
Yeah, she said they're different in terms of their experience, right? And that's, you can't quantify what that means for your team.
Garzone, the interception. Up ahead to Parrish, rejected at the rim. Had them sit in a circle at midcourt, as she always does, but her message today was different. We are road dogs, she said. We have won on the road in front of big environments. Tonight is no different.
I love it. And Caitlin Clark kind of tagged that when she was speaking with us as well, talking about the road dog mentality. They brought that up last season and have carried it over this year as well. Earlier this year, they played at Ohio State when Ohio State was ranked 2nd in the country. So Monica Sinano said that gives us confidence to know that we can do something like that.
Sinano stripped by Parrish. All the way to the basket.
Sydney Parrish has been for this Hoosiers team.
And Sinano ends the run promptly, a 2,000-point score and part of the law firm.
Yeah, the law firm of Clark and Sinano. We had that T-shirt made up last year. And they sent me one, you know, I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome.
Caitlin Clark, her first shot at 3.
How about the string music for Caitlin Clark from the outside?
Well, she's been even better in league play, which is hard to fathom, but she shot 47% from downtown over the last 2 games. And here she is again, back-to-back threes.
I mean, look out.
The unquestioned leader for Indiana, and she rolls it down.
Grace Berger missed 8 games earlier this season with a knee injury. You see it wrapped up there.
Gabby Marshall. Moore-McNeil.
That was a good, clean look.
Home run pass to Warnock, and she pays it off.
Well, that's one of the main reasons why Iowa scores 88 points per game, because they push with the pass. They don't mess around with it. They sprint and rim run and finish in the paint.
And Christy, we were here for a record-breaking crowd just a couple of weeks ago against Ohio State. This might be a bigger crowd here tonight.
I think so. I mean, they're coming to see some great Big Ten basketball, where 6 teams are in the top 25 and 4 in the top 10.
Indiana with its highest ranking in program history, checking in at number 2 in the polls this week. On the wrong end of a 13-2 run. Scalia, first 3 of the game for Indiana. It's taken her a little bit of time, Christy, but now she's scored in double figures in 3 out of the last 5.
Sometimes it's the timing of when you get your shots, not necessarily where you're shooting it from, and I think that's been the adjustment for her.
Sydney Parrish. We've yet to see her take a shot tonight, but she's averaging 18 a game over the last 3 for IU. First-year Oregon transfer on the floor. Berger counting on the foul.
Grace under fire. Grace Berger right here putting you in the spin cycle, bringing it back the other way, gets tagged on the arm on the way up. What a strong finish with this execution. Just top notch for Grace Berger in terms of her phenomenal footwork to spin back around, give herself enough space and the perfect angle.
Two of the best bigs in the conference, two of the best bigs in the country. Warnock on a great feed.
What a phenomenal find by Caitlin Clark there. She just baits you to sleep and sends in a sizzler of a pass.
There's Parrish from downtown. Clark. Second chance, rejected by Holmes. This is not just two top 5 teams, but two teams separated by a half game in the Big Ten regular season. Iowa, of course, won a share of it last year, but Indiana has not won since the inaugural season in 1983.
My goodness, I mean, these two teams are matched up in the tournament championship. Mackenzie Holmes was not healthy in that game, as Terry Morin reminded us of today. At this juncture of the season, as Terry Morin is trying to get some clarification on positioning down there.
Our officials, Roy Gobain, Julie Cromenhoek, Felicia Grinter, and Caitlin Clark will get a 3-point opportunity at the foul line. And Glenn Box, an assistant coach for Indiana, is off the bench saying she kicked her leg out.
Well, let's see. There's a snatch back right there. Let's see if her leg comes out to create the contact. And I don't think it did it? I mean, Chloe Moore-McNeil was on the other side of it. I mean, she's got to be able to jump up and come down. It didn't look like she intentionally stuck her leg out to me.
25% of her points per game coming from the stripe.
Just under 9 assists per contest, so she's making plays. But she is supplying so much.
Here's Holmes, defended by Sinano. Holmes flips it up and in.
I try to tell you.
3. Good rebound. Stokey puts it back.
I mean, Caitlin Clark just puts you in a spinner. She gave her teammates a chance to get to the glass.
Speaking of the spinner, how about Grace Berger off the window?
Well, she loves to utilize her strong body for positioning like that. Get some leverage with that body contact.
Clark, no. Tapped around and secured by Garzone.
And react as necessary as competitors.
Berger with the ball. Inside to Holmes. And she walked. The Holmes will come out. She doesn't pick up a foul here at the end. Sinano, the handoff, 2 seconds. And they won't get the shot off in time. Well defended by Indiana. Two top 5 teams tied at 19.
Defense in the post, you have to stay on your toes. It's a 2-step down there. 2-step to the high side. Step through, 2-step on the baseline side. And you're seeing it on both ends for these two teams with two strong presence.
Iowa went on a 13-2 run in the first quarter after trailing 5-0. Indiana countered back. And a foul will go against Sydney Parrish, sending Caitlin Clark to the floor. Marshall off the bounce, and that's 2 quick ones on Sydney Parrish. And now already 3 in the quarter for Indiana.
The pace of play has changed as well.
And another turnover, the 10th on the Hawkeyes. Well, Indiana forces 16.5 turnovers a game in league play. At this rate, they're going to have a heck of a lot more than that.
And they've scored 5 points off of those 10 turnovers so far.
Berger, late whistle comes in. She'll get 2 shots.
All Big Ten, and she was first team All Big Ten last year. She's tough as nails, has some USA basketball experience, and she said she really gained some leadership qualities and tutelage with that USA basketball experience a couple summers ago.
Sinano, yes. Her first points of the second quarter and just her second bucket of the game. Scalia right back the other way.
To disrupt Mackenzie Holmes' recovery to get to her. And no double team. Get it out of your
jokes.
Hands. Just maybe 5 seasons ago now, 4 seasons ago now. But very fundamentally sound in the paint.
And now they've got Hannah Stolke waiting in the wings.
Absolutely.
A freshman, reigning Gatorade Player of the Year in Iowa, coming off the bench. And 3 straight trips down the floor now. Indiana getting to the foul line.
Yeah, they've gone right into the painted area.
13th ranked Buckeyes trying to get revenge on Indiana. Catch that one, 7 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network. And the best scoring defense in the league. Defend without fouling Iowa tonight. Stolke right into the chest of Garzone, and the freshman is on the board for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa can maybe sit down inside and double her and crowd her space. Not looking to do that, staying individually covered with Sonano on her.
Holmes gets it to go, and the foul.
We'll see what I can do when I get the next touchdown in there, and she got it.
So now 2 players for Indiana with 2 fouls, 2 Iowa players with 2 fouls. Sonata will stay on the floor for Lisa Bluter.
Well, that's the trust. That's the trust of the 5th-year player, Monica Sonano, who returned to the glee of Caitlin Clark.
Stolke, a tough shot over the outstretched arms of Mackenzie Holmes. They're really excited about her prospects.
I'm excited. I'm excited too. She is steady.
Scalia knocks down a 3. Lots of contact, no call, and it's back-to-back buckets.
But after January, you're not a freshman anymore. I mean, you've played enough games to be called almost a sophomore now. You see Grace Berger play that selfless style. I mean, everyone out here is a competitor, right?
Yeah.
But if you see that that ball is being...
Here is Clark. No points in the quarter. And changes that with a step back rattling down.
She knew she hadn't scored yet. And she needs to stay in her rhythm. You see a little zone here this time from Iowa, a little 2-3.
Clark dishes it off, and a Fulter puts it home.
And just simply done, right?
I think it's safe to say Caitlin Clark's on triple-double watch.
Yeah.
Again tonight, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists.
And she already has 9 triple-doubles.
Reigning National Player of the Week and the front runner for National Player of the Year.
The only one that she's close to is Sabrina Ionescu, who had 26 triple-doubles over her career at Oregon.
She was top 2 last year to be top 2 in both categories in multiple seasons.
Well, you love that. And those triple-double numbers, that's men's or women's. Okay, so
with double digits in scoring in this first half, she's now scored in double figures in 76 straight games as Moore-McNeil buries a 3. And that is the 4th of the game for IU. Madison O'Grady into the game for Iowa, and she threads it down to Kate Martin.
Somehow, Iowa just finds a way to dig a shot out of the mud and make the extra pass. I mean, they've done it with the extra passes in this first half.
Another good feed that time. 11 assists now. Scalia can't finish. Moore-McNeil gets it back for Indiana. Less than a minute to play in the first half. Parrish back on the floor with 2 fouls. Up ahead to Clark. Wiggles past Berger.
What did we just see? What did we just see? Matt? Come on.
That's called the blender.
No, hey, I don't know. That's called the bender, the blender. Wow. Wow.
3-point Iowa lead. Holmes defended by O'Grady. Sonata on the bench with 2 for Iowa. Counted in the foul. Holmes, a chance at the and 1.
Can you imagine just sitting there and not being 100% healthy? And your team needs you and you can't do anything about it?
5 seconds. Marshall. Rebound Berger. And we end the first half tied at 39.
in the first half, just like we started this game, tied up. But wow, we've seen some phenomenal play from both teams. Look at that, Sanano down there. Mackenzie Holmes just denying her any touches down low.
Kate Martin scooped up the loose ball, but couldn't finish. These teams met 3 times last year. Iowa swept Indiana 3-0, but the games were decided by an average of 6 points. And when you look at the last 16 meetings between these two programs, 10 of them decided by 7 points or less. This has traditionally been a very tightly contested matchup. How about that shot?
Goodness.
Stepping away from the right hand and knocking it down.
But my goodness, she's the only one I've seen do that.
Garzon flips it up, almost went down. Iowa on an 8-game winning streak. They have a couple of wins over top 10 teams, as does Indiana, as Berger lays it in. She really wanted an and one there. Clark, step back. Tapped down by Holmes, and that is the 3rd foul on Monica Sanano.
Which made that call an easy one.
Berger, all kinds of footwork.
That size that Terry Morin was talking about, it's not always in height. I mean, the size and strength of a player like Grace Berger is an advantage.
In the Big Ten standings, a win tonight, though, and Iowa has 2 top 2 road wins.
To have so many ranked teams, 6 of them in the Big Ten.
Martin left open. 3-point shooting has just not been there for Iowa. They started the game 3 for 5. They've since gone 0 for 8 from downtown. Berger spins it in off the window.
Right here, she's going to bring you in and then step through and smooch it off the glass. You love to see the basics and the fundamentals be rewarded with a bucket.
Wow, a foul on the floor. Called a foul against Indiana.
Take a look, Berger right there. Nice attack of the closeout by Gabby Marshall and got that contact.
Martin. Wow, what a tough finish.
Down to hold Scalia back.
Berger. And Martin up ahead to Clark. Weaving through the defense and draws a foul. 2 shots coming.
And it's tough to contain her because she is just so low to the ground and taking a straight line drive.
There's on the bench with 3, and Berger in the game with 2.
She said we have to be disciplined, take care of the ball. Our shot selection has to be good. I thought that last shot right there by Grace Berger was a good shot. Just didn't fall.
Interestingly, on the other side, Lisa Bluter has elected to sit Monica Sanano with 3 fouls.
And she knows that it has been very physical down inside, and Mackenzie Holmes has been getting a lot of touches down in there.
Marshall, kick out. Warnock a 3. And the first one goes down for Iowa.
She's the glue for the Hawkeyes.
Lily Meister into the ball game for Mackenzie Holmes. Parrish responds with a 3.
And that's what they need her to do. That's why she needs to stay on the floor and stay disciplined defensively.
Right back the other way. Caitlin Clark on skates, putting it off the window.
She just surveys and slithers her way right to the rim so easily.
And Caitlin Clark tagged with her 2nd foul. She's got to be careful here. 2nd foul on Caitlin Clark.
And look at Chloe Moore-McNeil. Got poked right in the eye. And Caitlin Clark was like, oh, wow.
We're going to take this game, and you started by winning this 5. Here we go. Here we go.
I love it. Get nasty. We're going to win this game by winning these next 5 minutes. Christy, she told us today she feels blessed to be coaching in this era of Big Ten women's basketball.
Hey, I feel blessed sitting here watching it. How about Grace Berger? She is just bringing her A game to the floor tonight.
Clark, are you kidding me?
See, every time you turn around, Caitlin Clark seems to have an answer for the momentum that Indiana brings. Grace Berger just hit a tough, fantastic shot. And then here on the other end, She gets downhill once again.
9 times, 11 lead changes. 4th foul on Indiana. Clark up to 19 points. She had 12 in the first half, but was limited to 4 in that second quarter. A concerted effort by the leading candidate for the National Player of the Year award to get going here in the second half as Holmes comes off the bench and lays it in with the left hand, and now Holmes up to 14.
And there's Mackenzie Holmes coming alive for the Hoosiers. I can't even finish my sentence. And then Caitlin Clark comes down and sizzles. I love it.
Holmes, Stokey, back-to-back buckets for Mackenzie Holmes. Stokey, and the 5th on Indiana, so Iowa shooting foul shot. Berger and Moore-McNeil each have 2. Purdue against Chase Audige, an upset-minded Northwestern Big Ten basketball presented by Jeep Sunday at 2 Eastern on the Big Ten Network.
Chloe Moore-McNeil to force the pass by Berger.
Rolls it in, around and down for the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. And the Hawkeyes have Davis, Affolter, Clark, Sinano back on the floor with 2 fouls, and Hannah Stolke, their star-studded freshman, on the floor as well.
Well, she has just been so confident with her choices on the court. Look at her attacking and got tagged. Freshman on freshman right there, challenging one another.
Stolke 4 of 4 from the floor. And now just 5 of 13 as a team. 5 of 14, and the rebound to Berger.
Stolke's 0 for 6 from the free throw line. I mean, this is a big moment. I mean, you said over 13,000, so record crowd here. Spectacular tonight with her skill set on the interior.
Clark fouled by Moore-McNeil. Here's another look at it.
Oh, it's like she lost balance, and oh, that was a tough fall.
Moore-McNeil with 3, Parrish with 3, and Berger playing with 2.
There was a drought from the line for Iowa as well. And she has struggled as well, even though she's made her last 2.
And just a shade over a minute to play in the third quarter.
Just look how Indiana moves without the ball.
Mackenzie Holmes now has 20 points or more in 7 of her last 8 games.
We were talking about the depth. You see it right there.
Clark, a contested 3, well defended by Moore-McNeil. Berger puts it down. All right, so 6 seconds on the timer, 16.6 left in the third.
A 2-man game.
Clark, Sinano, can't beat the buzzer. Shot clock turned off. 5 seconds. Berger spins, left it short, ball out of bounds, and it'll stay with IU. 1 second on the timer. Holmes had it knocked away. Excellent defensive play by Gabby Marshall. Woo, buckle up, folks.
Hey.
It's a 5-point lead for number 2 Indiana.
This league, top to bottom, is just so fantastically competitive.
So there was a combined 6 wins for these 2 programs against the AP Top 10. Warnock traveled.
59 points allowed per contest for their opponents, and they're doing it right now to a team like Iowa, who averages 88 to lead the country.
Iowa has scored 80 points or more in 13 straight games, and you just have to think, Monica Sinano has been quiet tonight, just 4 points on 2 of 4. For them to win this game, you almost feel like they have to get her going a little bit in the fourth as she draws a foul, and it goes against Holmes, and that is her 3rd. Warnock driving, Parrish the foul. That is 4 on Sydney Parrish.
I mean, not to be shady, but I mean, that's just what the complexion of this game has presented tonight.
8 of 17, Iowa is from the stripe. Warnock, one issue, though, aside from the free throw shooting, Indiana might run out of players here. Garzone on the bench with 4, Parrish with 4, Moore-McNeil with 3, Holmes with 3, and now Garzone is back into the ball game with those 4 fouls.
Who have been battling it out, not just the post players, the guards getting downhill and getting into the paint as well.
It's interesting. Iowa led Indiana points in the paint 24 to 16, but what we have seen in the second half is the emergence of Mackenzie Holmes finding her rhythm in the post. And there's Sonato, a second chance. Warnock pays it off from downtown.
The offensive boards for Iowa. And that has saved them many times here tonight. It's like a 1-3-1.
Holmes, second chance, you bet. 22 for Mackenzie Holmes. Her 9th 20-point game in Big Ten play.
It's a 9-3 advantage on second chance points.
Holmes picks it off and saves it to Garzone.
Lisa Bluter looking for a travel.
Garzone a 3. Yes! Rejected by Garzone. Berger fouled on the drive. And 2 shots coming for the 5th-year senior. After the foul, 2 shots coming for Berger.
And she tied her left shoe up a little tighter, but she is as tough as nails. You see that wrap on her right knee. She missed those 8 games earlier this season after being injured over the Thanksgiving break.
Sonato. 7-0 run for Indiana, their largest lead of the game at 7. And the ball tipped by Gabby Marshall out of the Iowa timeout. And the Hawkeyes get a stop here.
Iowa still zoning, sticking with that, trying to contain the paint.
Tipped away by Clark into the front court. And Clark stops the 7-0 Indiana run.
Garzone with those 4 fouls didn't want to do anything.
Berger, turnaround pure.
Simply executed by Grace Berger against the zone.
Offensive foul on Sonato, and that is her 4th.
Iowa likes to mix up things defensively. We've seen player to player, man to man. That's what Lisa Bluter calls it, player to player.
Great extra pass. Moore-McNeil finds Garzone.
This crowd was up. This record crowd of over 13,000.
Clark hesitates and drops it in. And one opportunity for Caitlin Clark. Mackenzie Holmes is arguing that she didn't touch Clark. There was a little bit of a body graze there, but now Holmes is on the bench with 4 fouls.
That's a tough one for sure.
So Sonato on the bench with 4 for Iowa. Holmes on the bench with 4 for Indiana. And it's 2 freshmen in the post now. Stolke and Meister.
Let them go to work. Let them fight for a touch.
Garzone. Yes! Downtown corner 3. Stolke out to Martin. Berger operating. Meister.
She said that Lisa Bluter told her it's about the team who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Sonato back in the game with 4 fouls. Lisa Bluter rolling the dice with her team down 10. It's the largest deficit for either team in this game. And Holmes also on the floor with 4 fouls.
Iowa has some work to do because Indiana has built up this fantastic 10-point lead.
Sonato puts it down.
But they just haven't been able to get that on a consistent basis tonight, and credit Indiana's defense for that.
They've held Sonato to just 6 shot attempts. Berger. Floating, counted in the foul. 25 for Grace Berger, a new season high.
With the big body Ben's move down here, she knew she had the advantage with her strength and size.
And Berger at the line for IU. They've been really good at the line tonight. Broadcaster Jinx.
I was going to say it, but no, but Grace Berger, what a phenomenal game. Almost a double-double with those 9 rebounds, but she has really put IU on her back in the second half.
Caitlin Clark responds, putting the team on her back. All 8 of Garzon's points can come in the fourth quarter. Holmes. Defended by Sinano with 4 fouls. Contact now. Who's the whistle on?
That's a major impactful play for the foul, but Sinano will take a seat.
7-point lead for the Hoosiers.
Well, that's when you pop your hand up if you're Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Like, that's me.
The door has been left open, though, for the Hawkeyes and Caitlin Clark. 2:15 to play. Stolke into the chest of Holmes.
Get 2 on the ball, 2 one pass away, and get some deflections and push tempo and try to get some fast break opportunities.
Some pressure from Iowa, and it leads to a foul. Moore-McNeil, an 83% foul shooter. We asked Terry Moore, what's been the catalyst for this? Maturity.
Yeah.
Grew up in a small town in Tennessee. Came here as a freshman, first time really playing in front of crowds like this, and it's taken her some time to find her footing. Boy, has she ever.
Well, the leadership has come organically for Chloe Moore-McNeil. I think you have to fly around and try to get some steals created in live ball situations.
Into Berger.
Somebody's got to come up and close it. There it is, the double team. They're trying to get the double team. Somebody needs to rotate to that next pass, though. Nobody was there to rotate.
Wow, and a foul comes in from Caitlin Clark. That's the 4th on Caitlin Clark.
I mean, they don't hurt. but
and if Caitlin Clark's taking them, they definitely don't hurt.
That's what I'm saying. But you don't have Monica Sinano in there.
Yep.
I would say she's got to pull them. She's got to pull them. There she is.
Rebound Stolke, tap back out. Martin. Warnock off the window.
And here's the full court press. They're fouling right away.
They've got some big ones coming up down the stretch.
Look at that. But that's what the Big Ten is all about.
That's what makes this game so important.
Absolutely. You see that right there at Iowa, and that game is already sold out.
1:16 to play. Clark, too hot with the pass to Stolke.
And that has been the difference in this game.
Terry Morin said with this team, there's just an extra level of toughness compared to previous seasons. Iowa seemingly content to defend this set, but a foul will send Holmes to the charity stripe. In what could be a battle for the Big Ten championship.
Well, I mean, this game tonight felt like that.
No doubt.
All the implications of what March is going to be. But that just speaks volumes to what Terry Morin and her staff have built here in Bloomington.
Less than a minute to play. Clark down to Stolke, draws a foul. And she's really been in foul trouble all night. Stolke at the line to shoot 2. She's 0 for 6 tonight.
But it's just been an issue this evening for Iowa.
Rebound Moore-McNeil. Well, this is a women's program that has had just historic season after historic season. You saw the WNIT banner at the end.
They want to crack the code and get back to the Final Four in March. You know that your hard work is paying off, and you just need to keep chopping.
Timeout, Lisa Bluter, the final timeout for Iowa. And she gets some magic here. 45 to play. Clark, no. Rebound picked up by Sandvik. And Indiana will head back to the foul line to put this game on ice. A record crowd. 13,064 on hand in Bloomington. They picked the right night to show out at Assembly Hall.
Yeah, it was packed. 2 hours ahead of this game. Fans trickling in. I saw probably a little 2-year-old girl with the candy stripe pants on. Oh, she was so cute.
Start them young.
And congratulations to you,
Thank
my friend,
you.
on the newborn son.
My 2-year-old, hopefully for my wife's sake, is asleep right now. 87-76. Clark. Desperation time for Iowa. And a timeout taken by Terry Morin. Wanted this one tonight.
We're just going to burn this clock here.
What a win for IU. Another top 10 win. It's their 4th of the season. They remain undefeated against top 25 teams at 7-0. And the Hoosiers are now 23-1, worthy of a top seed in the tournament at this point. And listen to this crowd, 13,064 in Bloomington.
Just an amazing environment. This is big. That's why we say that all the time. I mean, the opportunity is big. The moment is big. And Indiana gets the W. I just think Terry Morin and her ball club, they willed this game on the defensive end, and that was the big difference maker. They forced 18 turnovers for Iowa. They were able to score 14 points off of those.